Hey, it is Dawn Nicole, CEO and founder of Queen City Women in Business, where we connect women to contract opportunities faster, nationwide. And today I want to talk about 5 ways to build a brand if you're broke. How do you build a brand, get recognition, get your program launched, collect data, all of that if you're broke? Everyone always gives steps and strategies for how to succeed and what to do, but sometimes we don't consider the current state where people are. Not everyone has the same accesses to resources, the same accesses to networks. And so I wanted to think about what I did when I was really at the bottom, like when I had just started, I didn't have a big work, I didn't have a lot of money. What type of grit did I use that I could do for free? And that's what we're going to break down today. So let's jump into it. Let's get started right now. So the first thing is a focus group. Very, very simple. Now you might be like, what is a focus group? A focus group is when you invite a select number of people, somewhere between 6 to 10 people, to an opportunity, maybe for an hour, hour and a half. You can do it virtually. A lot of people do it in person. It's very popular with marketing teams and marketing firms. But a focus group is really inviting people to an opportunity that you present first to get a reaction, to get feedback. Sometimes with a focus group, you are conveying two concepts to say, is it A, is it B? This is what we think it is. What do you think? A focus group should also consist of your ideal audience. So it's a group of people that you would be selling a program or an offer or a service to. And the goal is to get real-time feedback if possible. And it's the type of feedback that you will instantaneously use if it makes sense to make your product or service better. But what also happens with a focus group is typically these are the same people that you're going to go back and sell services to. So if it's really, really good, these are candidates for you to sell to. And listen, you can do a focus group every month. You can do a focus group every week, although that can be exhausting because with the focus group, not only do you have to source, that means find the right people, but you've got to convince them to show up. So in your email content, in your invite, you have to say, listen, I'm getting ready to launch X, and I believe that you are just the right person to provide me the right feedback because potentially you would be the type of client I would be selling this to. I'd appreciate if you would take, 45 minutes to an hour of your time to join me virtually on Tuesday the 12th, making this up totally, to give me some real-time feedback. So the first part of your focus group is inviting. The second piece is getting them to the opportunity, presenting the opportunity, and making sure that you have the tools to do that. If you want more on how to run a focus group, there's a video in the description below. You can click on that and you can learn, okay? So number one is a focus group. It's free. And make sure you also, as a bonus, make sure you do a what's in it for them. Like, why would they show up and give you this? Because as a result, I'll give you a recommendation on LinkedIn. I'll send you a $5 gift card, or I'll give you a quick shout out to your business. So make sure you do a what's in it for them. Number two, a social media poll or survey. So nowadays, we're in 2025 now, baby. No excuses, right? Every social media platform, or most of them, have a way where you can do a poll. I know LinkedIn has a great survey, a great poll. You can run your poll for about a week to 2 weeks, I think, if it hasn't changed. And basically, you're going to ask a probing question and you're going to give a few options, and your goal is to figure out which one sticks. So let's say you have a new program that you're trying to launch, or you're trying to price it, or you're trying to name it, right? A poll is where you're asking a question and you're really looking to get real-time feedback again from your intended customer. So you're going to say, hey, LinkedIn audience or whomever, Facebook needs your help, right? I'm launching a new program on the 12th. I don't know why I keep picking the 12th. And we're going to call it this. And here's the purpose of it. How much would you pay for it? Would you pay $2.99, $5.99, $1.99? So it's where you're giving options and you're trying to collect data. And a really interesting thing happens when you launch a poll like this. Not only are you going to get feedback, but typically you also get interest because the same people who responded to your poll are typically good targets for you to follow up with later to let them know how the conclusion of that program went. Okay, so again, a survey is a great way to collect data. And listen, you can do a survey every week. You can do a survey every month about different things. Okay, so again, if you're broke, this is a great way for you to collect some data and collect some interest. Okay, number three, good old-fashioned email survey. I don't care what they tell you. Emailing is never going to go out of style. People check their email like clockwork. It's like what they do first thing in the morning, okay? Actually, data shows that it's the first thing they do. You grab your phone, you go to the bathroom. Anyway, so email survey. Email a couple of buddies, a couple of friends that are your target audience. So if you're selling to HR, email folks who you know are in HR companies. If you're selling to folks in construction, if you're selling to bloggers, whoever it is, email a couple of buddies. Now, if you don't don't know them, then it's the power of leverage, my friend. Ask a friend who knows a friend and just put together an email list and just say, hey, Fred, quick question. I'm doing this random survey around people in construction, and I want to know if what is the biggest need right now for people just starting in construction? Is it education? Is it understanding their licenses? Is it understanding certifications? Or is it understanding access to decision makers, where to go to get business? So whatever your thing is that you're trying to sell, make sure you articulate it well in an email and ask a question, and make sure that it's clear from the beginning that you're polling. This is a survey question. Would love your thoughts, right? Even name the subject line. Would love your thoughts on this. Please help me make a decision, right? And then put your email down there. All right. 4, the good old fashioned info call. So an info call and a Q&A call. I've done a ton of these with different programs. This is where you're excited. It's no longer a focus group, right? Because a focus group is typically early on where you're still trying to craft it and you're still trying to get reactions. But let's say that you're pretty set on the thing you want to offer and you know who you want to offer it to, then you can launch a virtual lunch and learn info call around your product, around your service, around your offer. It's free. You're going to invite people. You're capturing registrations in some kind of survey, Monkey, MailChimp, or Constant Contact, whatever your CRM of choice is. And then you're going to host these Q&A calls, and you're really doing a call to action at this point. You're no longer asking to help me craft or create it, but this is where you're pretty set on the price, you're pretty set on the program, you're pretty set on the offer, and you want to know, are they in or out, right? And what questions they have. So I've done a ton of these info Q&A, info calls, Q&A calls with my ideal customer, and they have converted into opportunities. Okay. So that's another thing you can do. Finally, number 5, good old fashioned monthly webinars. That's right, monthly, and some people do weekly webinars. But what I like about a webinar is that you create a signature topic. So real fast, I'll make this make sense. When I was in the Agile space, Agile methodologies, Agile frameworks, and I was launching my CAT program back in 2020, there's a lot of videos on that. I won't get into it, but it was called the Certified Agile Transformation Professional. So it was a new accredited course that taught people about the language of Agile. What is it? A lot of people still were unclear about what are the roles, and how do I go into a company with this new certification and get a job? By the way, a lot of people got jobs, but when I first launched it, nobody knew who it was, and some people did not know who I was. So what I had to do is, since my program was called the Certified Agile Transformation Professional, I created this signature topic that was called An Introduction to Agile in a New World. Ooh, it sounds compelling. Remember, part of marketing, part of selling is you have to be interesting. What is your interesting tagline that's going to make people listen, make them lean in and say, what is Agile in a New World, right? And so I created this talk that was called An Introduction to Agile Transformation in a New World. It's 2020, right? And I launched this I think I did it monthly. And I remember I launched the first one. I think it was I started in December 2020, but then January 2021 and then February 2021, I started to launch this. And guess what? It was free. I put it on Eventbrite. I put it on LinkedIn. It was this free lunch and learn. It was an hour, but it was like 45 minutes of learning. And then the last 15 minutes was Q&A. I was upselling my CATP course, my Certified Agile Transformation course. So while the webinar was free, right, the upsell was really what I was after. Let me tell you a secret. What a fast way to build a list. Because I was running this monthly over and over, people who would attend the first one would tell somebody who would attend the February one and then the March one. Then all of a sudden I was being booked to speak at Project Management Institute, PMI. I was doing Agile stuff. You could look it up. I did like Scrum Alliance. I did all kind of stuff, right? And I became like the queen of these Agile talks, right? I traveled. I did a lot of things. I made some great money and really some great relationships and helped some people to change their career. So these are 5 things you can do right now if you are broke on a budget, right? And you're trying to build a brand and collect data. Again, you can build a focus group. You can do social media polling. You can do your email survey. Use tools like Slido, Polly, right? You can do info calls, Q&A sessions, and most importantly, you can run a weekly or monthly webinar. Listen, this is Dawn Nicole giving you some free tips to grow on. I hope that this was helpful. And if you are interested in more videos like this, or if you know a woman-owned business who's trying to grow and scale through contracting, send her to qcwib.com, where we help women get connected to contracts faster. All right, signing off. Take care. Happy New Year.